Welcome to U.S. News Source Channel. Explosions occurred in the heart of Russia. Flames rose from the area of the Russian military contingent of the Eastern Administrative District in Moscow. A fierce fire broke out in this area of the Russian contingent at night. Extinguishing teams took action immediately. It was announced that the area of this fire was 200 square meters. These attacks remain a mystery. Immediately after, a fire broke out in a Russian military deployment area in the Saratov region of Russia. It has been reported that the fires were put out very difficult and serious damage occurred. In fact, flames broke out in Belgorod, Russia's border region, right after. A fire broke out in the Russian military area in the region. It has been announced that this area is an area where Russian military mobile units are deployed in the Rosgvardia region. These fires, which took place one after another quite recently, caused great panic on the part of Moscow. Inability to prevent such attacks before they are carried out shows the inadequacy of Russia's defense. Moreover, as it is known, due to this problem, there is a decrease in military resources. Russia is dealing with these problems as it distributes military equipment to countries and cannot repair damaged equipment due to industrial problems. The problems in the defense industry are also increasing as spare parts are not available due to sanctions. For these reasons, military equipment damaged in the war cannot be repaired and the available resources are also decreasing. This situation causes serious problems of defense inadequacies on the Russian side. Thus, the war is taking shape. Now moves are of great importance in the course of the war. In this war that has been going on for 10 months, the operations are getting more and more fierce every day. Intense clashes are mostly carried out on the southern and eastern fronts. By launching simultaneous and strategic operations on the fronts, the Ukrainian armed forces began to push the Russian army quite hard. In this way, many regions are taken back and the Russian forces are defeated by accurate attacks and suffer serious losses. In the war that has been going on for 10 months, Moscow's total loss of military resources has reached significant levels. As a result of Russia's faulty strategies in the war and the capabilities of the Ukrainian army, Russia's loss of soldiers exceeded 101,000. Military equipment and ammunition also suffer serious losses. Russia lost more than 5,986 armored combat vehicles and more than 3,006 tanks in 10 months. These losses also led to reductions in Moscow's offensive and defensive power in ground operations. In addition, Russia has lost more than 210 air defense systems in the field of defense so far. Russia, which sent its military equipment to the fronts for war, started to experience a decrease in its defense power by remaining short of resources in its own country. Due to the unexpected attacks, it is seen that the Russian army suffered a great deal of loss and difficulty both in its own territory and in the territory of Ukraine. However, the attack and defense inadequacy of the Russian soldiers erupts when the attack on critical areas cannot be prevented. Moreover, hitting the Russian military defense industry areas targeted by the Ukrainian forces also causes the Russian soldiers to deal with the inadequacy of defense and not be able to prevent the attacks. Due to the inadequacies, Russia has to face new attacks every day. At the same time, explosions on Russian soil increased after Russia's massive missile attacks on infrastructures. Escalation of these attacks was also considered as retaliation after the Ukrainian President Zelensky's vows of revenge. Explosions are taking place at military points on the territory of Russia every day. In addition, as military points are hit, the operational power is reduced. Power outages occur when military infrastructures are hit. In this case, the communication of the Russian soldiers is cut off. Some of these explosions are not undertaken by Kiev. Ukraine, especially targeting military areas, is putting a lot of pressure on the Russian soldiers. Moreover, attacks carried out at the border remain risky for both sides. There are also remarkable developments on the south side. An operation against Crimea can be launched at any time. As it is known, Ukrainian troops achieved serious success on the southern front. Thanks to these successes, the regions bordering the Crimea were taken back and deployed to the regions From the deployed areas, the Russian military points in Crimea came within range of the HIMARS systems. Russian army, on the other hand, started to take action in the region. It has been announced that Ukraine has recently started to examine the defense in Crimea. It is thought that the Ukrainian units, which have started to investigate the defense in the region, may launch operations with various weapons such as naval vehicles, unmanned aerial vehicles and missile systems, after the examinations. In addition, according to experts, these investigations may be to gather information about the operation of Russian air defense systems and radar stations before the stated aid from the United States and NATO countries arrives, rather than for the attack. It is also known that unmanned aerial vehicles equipped over the territory of Ukraine have flown in the direction of Crimea many times in the past weeks. Even weeks ago, Russian military ships and bases on the Black Sea were targeted. These areas were severely damaged. Russia, on the other hand, started to increase its defense in the region after these explosions. By collecting information on the functioning of Russian air defense systems, the Ukrainian army can plan large-scale attacks to prevent these systems. In this case, the new front of the war may become the Crimea. However, in this case, it is not thought that Russia will be able to protect this region due to its decreased operational power as a result of the losses. General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine announced the latest casualties of Russian forces. Russia's losses are getting more critical every day. While Ukraine's defense is getting stronger day by day, Russia's military equipment is decreasing. With the Western sanctions, everything is getting more and more difficult for Russia. Ukrainian forces destroyed 2 tanks, 6 artillery systems, 5 armored combat vehicles, 1 multiple launch rocket system, 5 unmanned aerial vehicles, 7 vehicles and tankers of Russian troops. Ukraine also neutralized 550 Russian soldiers in just one day. According to Ukraine's data, it is known that Russia has lost more than 100,000 military forces on Ukrainian territory since February. Ukraine launched attacks on the headquarters of the Russian forces, neutralizing Russia's experienced and rank military forces. This is an important reason for Russia's failure on land. However, Russia increased its missile attacks as it failed to achieve success on land. By attacking infrastructures on Ukrainian soil, Russia damaged energy infrastructure in Ukraine the most. After Russia's infrastructure attacks, Ukraine started to neutralize most of Russia's missile attacks by getting the air defense systems it wanted more easily. Although Russia has carried out many attacks in recent months, using the Shahid drones it bought from Iran, the Ukrainian Air Force drew attention with its success in neutralizing these attacks. Ukrainian air defense is more powerful than ever and has more systems than ever before. Ukraine is currently actively using advanced systems such as IRIS-T and NASAMS. Good news came from the United States of America during the visit of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to the United States, leaving the territory of Ukraine for the first time. United States has announced the content of the new military aid package to Ukraine. The most prominent military equipment in this aid package was the Patriot Air Defense System. Patriot Air Defense System is known for being the longest-range air defense system. Since the Patriot Air Defense System has a range of 500 kilometers, it is a very important piece of equipment for Ukraine. Patriot system is a system that can significantly improve Ukraine's air defense. While we are talking about the possibility of a missile attack by Russia again, the fact that Ukraine will buy such a system is an important development for the security of Ukraine's lands. Moreover, Russian air attacks will now be largely prevented. Such aids will also greatly affect the course of the war in the countries. In the long run, the strategic steps to be taken by the countries and the decisions made by the leaders regarding the war will become much more critical. We'll see what happens in the next few days. We have reached the end of another video. You can support us by liking the video. You can easily follow new videos by subscribing. I wish you all a war-free day. See you.